Let me ask you guys a simple question. What is Nissan's best-selling car in America? And if you said the Nissan Altima, you would have been right last year, but not this year, because the car behind me, the new Nissan Rogue, is now Nissan's top seller. And coming up right now in the Fast Lane car, you know what? We're going to take it for a ride and we're going to do a review. This 2017 model is what's called a mid-cycle refresh, which means that Nissan basically has given it a nip and tuck to make it more modern, make it a little bit more stylish. But under the hood is the same powertrain. It's a 2.5-liter inline-4 that puts out 170 horsepower and 175 pound-foot of torque. Now all that power is fed to either the front wheels or all wheels by a CVT, and that's really the chink in the armor for this car, because I'm not a big fan of CVTs, but it does mean exceptional fuel economy. You're looking at 29 mpg combined with the front wheel drive, or 28 on the all-wheel drive model. Hey guys, I'm behind the wheel of the Rogue, and with me is our special guest reviewer. It's Alex from Alex on Autos. Alex, if they want to find you, where do they go?
That's a good question.
What's your YouTube channel?
They lack sleep and they're looking for very boring reviews, and then they go to youtube.com/AlexOnAutos.
So there you go, and you'll have a review of this vehicle. So if you guys are looking for another perspective, please visit his channel. He does some of the most detailed, and I mean that in the nicest possible way, reviews out there.
It's okay, you can mean it in a bad way and still apply.
No. These are really good car buyer reviews. Obviously, this car is not a sports car. It's a crossover that's meant to ferry people and kids from work to soccer games to church and such. So, you know, driving.
Are we there yet?
No, driving impressions are going to be aimed at that. So I'm not going to. Well, I'll give it the beans. So that was in normal mode.
Yes.
Now I'm going to hit this button over here called Sport, right?
Oh, and that's be quite careful though.
Yeah, and that's going to change everything around. Oh, I've got the lane departure activated. So now we're in Sport. Let's do it again.
Are you ready?
I can't tell the difference, dude.
do we do Star Trek where you like move side to side in coordination?
it's pretty much a family getter. You know, the ride is soft. It's very compliant. The CVT, of course, is there more for fuel economy than for sporting ambitions. All the changes in this car are, of course, mainly cosmetic. That means the wheelbase is the same length, and what you see is, well, new integrated LED headlights. There's a new Nissan family V-Motion grills. There's also an integrated fog light. It's just a more refreshed, more modern, more sculpted design that now matches the rest of the Nissan family. This car actually skews more female.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? I'm putting it in the spot.
I don't know. I think it might be that third row, because you want to put your mother-in-law back there. That's my thought on the third row.
I think it skews more female because it's very practical. There's a 7-row. The seats are comfortable. It's roomy. There's nothing exactly technologically cutting in this instrument panel. It's very straightforward to use. It goes right down the middle, and I think that's why it's becoming Nissan's best-selling car.
Yeah, and it has an enormous sunroof.
Yeah, those panoramic sunroofs are really popular now in this segment, and that one. Well,
and I'm happy this has a real shade rather than those translucent ones that give me a headache.
Yeah, this goes. I think this goes farther back than even most of them do. It goes almost back to that last row. This Nissan Rogue competes with other mid-size crossovers, but Nissan has specifically targeted the RAV4. And how do I know that? Because for the first time ever, coming next year, there will be a hybrid version of this. Look for that review a little bit later in the month. Can you guys see the biggest difference between the old Rogue and the new Rogue? I'm not talking about kind of the nicer interior, the changed IP. I'm talking about this, the steering wheel. It's the new D, that's what they call it, steering wheel, because basically the bottom is cut off. And you know what? I like it a lot. It makes for a much sportier car, even though this car itself is really not all that sporty when you drive it. I love the fact that they've made it kind of upscale, right? This is kind of a baby Infiniti in some ways.
I don't have a power seat though.
You don't have, yeah, I do have a power seat. And they have not introduced or announced pricing yet, so we don't know how much it's going to cost. So you may be paying for this. And keep in mind, of course, that when they give us these vehicles, we always get the top-of-the-line vehicles. We don't get the base vehicles.
Yeah, I'm sad this one doesn't have that third row as well.
You know, that's a
Because they said
unicorn.
S and SV only with the third row, and their claim was because we didn't want to make a leather version of the third row seat.
Well, I found that cars that are selling very well, when they redo them, it's always evolutionary, right?
Yes.
They never revolutionary. When cars aren't selling so well, that's when you get the weird design or something crazy happens. And
Or it's an accident. And oops, we shouldn't have really redesigned it that way.
yeah. And this car is, of course, their best seller, so they're never going to be too crazy out there. I'm sitting behind Alex on Autos, who drove this car last. And check out his YouTube review of this car on Alex on Autos. You'll find the scenery very remarkably similar. But for me, there isn't a lot of room. But given the fact that this is one of the roomiest cars in the segment, Alex is either really tall or he lays back like a pimp when he drives the car. All right, guys. First time I did this was behind the ass of an Escape at the Chicago Auto Show, and there's like a 50-50 chance that this will not work, but hopefully 50-50 chance. Let's try it again. There it goes. See? It's that new kick to open feature that is new to the 2017 Rogue, and basically if you have your arms full of groceries, then you can open the back liftgate by just kicking underneath the tail of the car. Now, normally when I have these conversations with product people, I kind of ask them softball questions, but since you're an engineer, I'm going to give you the hard question, okay?
Okay.
And the first one is, the front-wheel drive gets 29 mpg combined, and the all-wheel drive gets 28. That's a very small delta, right? It's only 1 mile. So the weight is the same. Obviously, you can't reduce that. The all-wheel drive system has a set weight. So how come you're only losing 1 mpg? Are you not using as much of the all-wheel drive, or is it mainly a front-wheel drive? How come it's such a small delta between those two numbers?
So it's primarily into front-wheel drive.
Right.
And it will only detect all-wheel drive as it's necessary. So unless you lock it into all-wheel drive, it will remain front-wheel drive.
Well, there you have it, guys. It's pretty phenomenal. You can get 1 mpg difference between all-wheel drive and
front-wheel drive for our 2.5 liter, and then also it's also only 1 mpg difference for the hybrid as well.
It's easy to discount this car, but I think it does meet a lot of people's expectations. If it only didn't have the CVT, I just have a really hard time.
So, you know, I kind of feel the love that dare not speak its name for the CVT.
Okay, why is that? What is it about the CVT that is so attractive to you?
I mean, it's not the rubber bandy thing, but you know, the fuel economy is good, and I'm willing to pay for, you know, a little bit of driving feel for the fuel economy. And if you're climbing a hill and you have a tiny engine, and this isn't 170 horsepower in a 3-row crossover, there's not a lot of horsepower. So if you're climbing a hill in it, it definitely keeps the 4-cylinder engine that optimum power band to help you scoot up that hill. A lot of cars do that, you know, upshift, downshift thing as you're going up and down the hill because they're trying to accelerate, and then they upshift because for fuel economy, and then you start lagging behind, and then they downshift again. You know,
yeah, I think
some people don't like the 4-cylinder noise, but
yeah, I think I can see your point.
Yeah.
The other thing that they've done with this is they've increased the noise, vibration, and harshness dampening in VH,
Yes.
and it is much quieter. There's a little bit of a whistle, and that's to do with the camera that's mounted on the roof. But without that whistle, this is a very quiet car.
yeah.
And a very comfortable car, and a very spacious car, and you know, I think they've got a home run here. I think
Comfy, quiet, efficient. What can you ask for?
Yeah, what can you ask for? So let me ask you the easy questions now. What's your favorite part of the Rogue?
We have intelligent cruise control and pedestrian forward emergency braking as well.
Yeah, that's a cool system. I was kind of wondering, you guys have the ability certainly to bring the car to a complete stop before hitting an object, right? But
Yes.
oftentimes you don't, right? You wait till the very last second, and if the driver hasn't hit the brakes, then you will do it for the driver. Why is that? Why not just intervene earlier?
So the vehicle will warn you first,
Right.
get the driver's attention, and then it'll autonomously brake the vehicle. And it will, up to 90 miles an hour, come to a complete stop.
Right.
And if the timing is such that it's not a long stop, it'll actually start the vehicle back up for you. And so bring you back. It's kind of a traffic jam sort of
So
assist.
you can actually, it'll stop you, and then it'll actually make
Re-excel.
All right, all right. When's the regular Rogue and the hybrid coming out?
So the 2.5 liter Rogue, 17 Rogue will be available November timeframe.
Okay.
And then our hybrid will be available before the end of the year.
So why is this Nissan's best-selling car in America? Well, I think the reasons are pretty evident. First, it's the only car in its segment with that third row, if you can find one. It also gets really good fuel economy, and most importantly, it offers a lot of value for your money. And that's always been Nissan's best value proposition, the fact that they offer a lot of car for not a lot of money. As always, this is Roman reporting for the Fast Lane Car. Check out tflcar.com for more news, views, and you know what? Everyday real-world Nissan Rogue reviews. And yeah, click over here to check out our last video, or click over here to subscribe. See you guys next time. Ciao.